I'm sort of hoping you can clear something up because, we're 8 episodes into Potomac, and you and Candiace have had sort of your ups and downs in your friendship for sure. And there's a lot more downs that we've been seeing this season compared to last season or in the previous seasons. And, there's a number of underlying issues there. It just seems sometimes that you guys don't get along personally, but Gizelle mentions that the reason you and Candiace aren't friends has everything to do with Charrisse. Is that true?
It's not that it has everything to do with Charrisse. It's what Charrisse represented, and it's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that was going on. Candiace was well aware. I had an ex-friend that started these vicious lies and rumors about me. She went to Candiace first. Candiace spoke with her for 2 hours. She asked Candiace for Charrisse's phone number, and Candiace connected the two of them. So the fact that Candiace tried to act as if she did not know of my issues with Charrisse and how severe they were, it really disappointed me. I expected that from other people, but I did not expect that from Candiace. So when I saw that she invited her and didn't give me a heads up, that's when I was like, wow, I felt like I was on her radar to be attacked the same way she attacked with Ashley last year. I'm like, dang, wow. Because you know exactly what that means. And you know exactly how me and Charrisse have not interacted, and you know what she's been a part of because you're the one who initiated the conversation between the ex-friend and Charrisse. Right. So it was more so of those things that bothered me. And in that moment, I felt, wow, Candiace is not my friend.
It's a trust issue, really, at the end of the day. You can't trust you don't feel like she has your back at the end of the day. Everyone else she would have their back on except you. And, speaking of the information that Candiace sort of brought to Gizelle about Ashley, I'm just a little confused as to what went down, at the lake house, if you will, because if Ashley was accepting of the way that Candiace approached her with this information, which I think was actually a pretty adult way to bring it out, even bringing Gizelle into it, and she felt like it was very genuine, why did you still think that Candiace was being messy with everything?
Because this is the second time that Candiace has gone in on someone else's marriage instead of minding her own. And mind you, I wasn't privy to the conversation. I didn't know about what was said or how it was presented until I watched the episode as well. So I'm going into this conversation with blinders on. And the issue I had is it's more personal because I've been attacked as well in my marriage. I've had people say things that were nasty about my marriage as well. And we all witnessed what she went through last year, she meaning Ashley, when she went through everything last year with her marriage. So my whole thing was, why even introduce this again? Haven't you been down this road? So whether you brought it in a peaceful way or an aggressive way, to me, you're still bringing it to camera. So that was like my issue. I was just like, certain things should be off limits. We can have fun. We can throw shade and have our fun shade moments and have our own drama. But at the point where you start involving marriage and family and children, that's when it gets nasty and vicious.
Well, the curious thing about this season is that you filmed it over a year ago, right? So obviously a lot of stuff is really brought down because it was pushed from airing in May to airing in August. So some time has passed, which I understand. You know, fans on Twitter sort of felt like you were being slightly controlling maybe of the situation at the time, and watching back now, having maybe a year's space to think about it, do you see where the feelings could have been misconstrued in that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I will point out is that when the whole conversation began in the kitchen, I wasn't intending to bring up anything that morning. Karen initiated the conversation because she had an issue with Gizelle holding these sidebars. And I had that issue as well, and I wasn't going to speak on it. But when Karen brought it up, I was like, well, yeah. So what the fans are missing is that when I initially started speaking about what I felt about how they carried the situation with the fire pit the night before, all of my energy was directed at Gizelle's actions. It wasn't until Ashley came in and then said, well, no, actually it wasn't Gizelle. It was Candiace, and she wanted to speak with me along with Gizelle. So she initiated this whole moment. We sat outside for an hour. There were conversations and subject matters that I wanted to deal with at the fire pit. I wanted to have like a let it burn session. And we weren't able to do that. We just had s'mores. And then by the time they came out, it was like, all right, well, it's getting late. Let's go ahead back in. So some of the things that I had planned out didn't go down. And I was quite bothered by that. Do I have controlling issues? Absolutely. I have been very open about that. All of us have our little quirks and different tendencies, and being a perfectionist and a control freak is definitely one and two of them. So, and that's something that I've been working on for years. So I was not trying to be controlling. I was more so looking for the respect for the event that I had planned. T'Challa.
T'Challa messing with the stuff, because that's very funny.
He just flew onto the back of my ring light.
He wants to be in front of the camera, Monique.
He does. He is really pressed today, and he really wants my shirt. So I'm going to just let him have at it. But yeah, so more so for me, there were a lot of things going on. There was the disrespect. There was the lack of consideration. Because every time I go on any trips with the ladies, I show up and I do what I'm told. Right. No one ever complains about me missing out on any of the activities, because I'm there, I'm prompt, and I'm respectful. When we were in France, I remember when I had the whole essential oils walkthrough, which the ladies said they wanted to get to know more about me and what I was into. So I planned this tour, and Robyn and Gizelle didn't show up. There were times where many of the activities were messed up because of the ladies not being prompt and on time. So I really felt every time when I'm trying to put forth some effort to make the group happy, it was just like, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal. Don't sweat it. And I was just like, don't try to minimize what I feel about something, whether you think it's big or small. But did I overreact in a moment because of other things that I had on my mind as it pertained to my relationship with Candiace and some unresolved issues with her? Absolutely. So all of that energy that I put into, going at her, even in the moment where she was apologizing and I couldn't even hear it. At that point, I should have just let it go and realized, wait, this isn't the fight. This isn't the issue right here for real, so I messed up, think, it is what it is.
Candiace was kind of getting on you a little bit for maybe pretending to be asleep when she was saying goodbye. I'm using air quotes here just to say her argument about you pretending to be asleep when she was kind of saying goodbye. But earlier in the episode, we see her not come down to sort of sing you a happy birthday. So at the end of the day, isn't that argument kind of moot? Because even if you weren't pretending, I mean, she should kind of understand that it was probably just easier for you to be asleep than not to have to face that awkward encounter, right? I mean, she missed out on your birthday celebration.
Honestly, you have never seen me in all the years I've been on this show back down to any type of confrontation. If it's in I don't back away or shy away from people. So I had no problem saying bye to Candiace. I simply fell asleep. You saw in the episode where I took that big, deep yawn.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? Yeah, you're like, I'm tired. Yeah.
I was exhausted after dealing with, y'all saw it, dealing with them ladies all weekend. I'm up early and then going to bed late being super host. I was at the wit's end at that moment, and I didn't even realize I fell asleep until the cameras were packing up. And, and I'm just like, oh shoot, wait, everybody's gone. So it wasn't just Candiace that didn't get a goodbye. I didn't say bye to Robyn either. It was a few people that left and I didn't get to say bye, but they only focused on Candiace because she's the only one that made a big deal about it. Also, as I'm watching the episodes, all she did the entire time was complain and say little backhanded comments about me the entire time. I had no issues with her being in my house at that moment. I invited her and I wanted it to be a friendly gathering. And that was my intention. I had no idea that she had so much to say behind the scenes. She never said it to me. So I thought we were all having a great time.
Well, speaking of having a good time, we talk a lot about Candiace and Gizelle being a bit messy and certainly very gossipy, but Robyn is right up there with the messiness, I got to say, especially this season. How does she get away with it, spreading gossip just like Gizelle does without catching any of the heat? She does it with a little bit of a wink, how does she get away with it?
Because just like Gizelle, they only spread it in their confessionals. They never say it to your face. So you have no opportunity to confront any of it until the reunion. So me, if I have something to say to you, I'm gonna say it to your face. I don't have to run to my confessional to say anything.